Various parts of America are said to be home to mysterious creatures, and one such area is that of North America. Back in 2014, a trail camera was placed in Mossy Rock in Lewis County, and it captured a mysterious creature. The unknown bipedal humanoid was soon given the name of the creature of Mossy Rock. A man had placed a trail camera on his property, which was said to be located out in the middle of the woods. There had been some strange sightings in the area, with the man coming forward and saying that strange noises could be heard late at night, and so he decided to set up one of these cameras in order to catch the culprit. The man who posted the image said the following: "The backstory of this image is that it was captured on a trail camera, and the guy who showed me it had been down at his friend's house in Mossy Rock. The property is out in the backwoods, and it's surrounded by nothing but deep woods. Around the same time that this picture was taken, they heard a screaming noise coming from just behind the house, which they said didn't belong to a cougar, coyote, or bear. They wanted to figure out what was causing these noises, and so set up motion-sensitive trail cameras to capture it. When checking the footage the next morning, this is what they found. It's an amazing photo, and it makes every other image I've seen look laughable in comparison. I get really annoyed when people try to argue its authenticity. These guys didn't even know how to send the picture from their computer to their phone. They don't know what Photoshop is. If this photograph is genuine, then it's easily one of the best images we have of this creature, and proves there's large bipedal humanoids roaming around in dense regions of America." One user said the following: "I've visited this area, and there's definitely something going on in these woods. I'm glad that I was with my son at the time, because otherwise no one would have believed my story." On the second night of our trip, we began to hear noises around our camp. This happened at night, so we attributed this to wildlife. However, what we couldn't explain was the loud screams that echoed through the woods. I've spent the majority of my life outdoors, but I had never heard such a noise before. It didn't match typical wildlife that you find in the area. Fast forward to the next day, me and my son decided to look around the camp in order to see if we could work out what was making those noises. All around us were huge footprints that were double the size of my boots. After making this discovery, we immediately packed up and left the area. It's an experience that I'll never forget, and when I hear these stories, I'm now a little more open-minded. Interestingly, this isn't the first time that hikers and residents within Washington have reported seeing such a creature. In fact, these sightings have become somewhat of a regular occurrence that investigators have now labeled Washington as a hotspot, and it's led hikers and investigators to go out into these areas in the hopes of finding evidence. What these creatures are, though, depends on who you ask, with scientists and anthropologists saying that you're not going to find such a creature, with them detailing that if such a creature did exist, and it was related to some great ape species or even a Neanderthal, then we would see evidence of things like bones in forests, saying that you would need a substantial number of these creatures to keep them going, and that as of right now, the evidence points towards them not being genuine. Researchers who have looked into this topic have said that this is actually helping them, and that they've said that we have to start with the process of elimination. Some of these investigators who have spent a large amount of time in these areas have said there's definitely been some interesting correlations that they've picked up on, one being that sometimes when these creatures are seen, strange lights have also been seen in the nearby area. What many people find interesting with these reports is that they aren't anything new. In fact, they can be traced back hundreds of years. Robert Robinson has said that one of the oldest known sightings of a creature fitting the description of the skunk ape took place in the early 1800s, with reports of other large humanoid creatures going back even further. The first reported sightings were by Native Americans, and since then, it's been suggested that there's different kinds. According to the reports, a group of sailors landed north of the Gulf of Mexico. As they had pulled into the bay, they claimed to have spotted a creature covered in hair from head to toe and appeared similar to a 5-foot-tall baboon. The encounter was recorded back in 1818, but sightings of baboons the size of men would continue to be reported throughout the area until the mid-1800s. The descriptions of the creature's odor are often conflicting, with many eyewitness reports claiming that the smell is impossible to compare to any other known smell. Some witnesses have claimed that the smell of the creature was similar to a swampy fish smell, with a mixture of rotten fish and eggs. An even smaller number of witnesses have claimed that the creature gives off a somewhat chemical smell, comparing it to hydrogen sulfide, methane, or swamp gas. While some testimonies have said that the creature suffers from an odor that is more akin to a wet dog, More commonly, however, the odor of the creature is reportedly exactly similar to that of a skunk, which is where the creature derives its name. The physical descriptions of the creature are far more consistent, with claims that the skunk ape is humanoid in shape, but without a defined neck, leaving its head resting flat on its shoulders. The creature has a human-like face. Fur covering its body except for its face and palms, has well-defined muscles despite the covering of the fur, and appears to have a hump on its back that may or may not extend beyond the top of the creature's head. Researchers have often quoted that two prominent early Native American tribes that had once resided around the modern-day areas of Florida and Louisiana feature reported encounters with the creature within their local mythologies that directly match with descriptions commonly associated with the skunk ape creature. This claim, however, is only partly true. One of the local Native American tribes features stories of a swamp-like creature referred to as the Shawanoki. Some researchers have incorrectly translated this to mean a mysterious swamp-dwelling creature, and so have made the connection that the creature must be referred to the skunk ape, of which is commonly reported in areas of swamps. The truth, however, is that Shawanoki directly translates to snapping mouth, and was more commonly used to refer to hidden alligators or snapping turtles local to the area. An additional note to make is that the coincidence of Shawanoki referring to the swamp and the skunk ape often being reported in or around a swamp is hardly a coincidence at all. Many of the areas throughout Louisiana and Florida feature swamps as their only form of wilderness, as it is nearly impossible to pave or develop any form of modern construction within swamp grounds. The other prominent Native American tribe does indeed feature a story that directly matches with reports and encounters with the skunk ape. Referred to by the tribe as the Esti Kapkaki, of which directly translates to the tall man, the creature is a reportedly humanoid being that is often regarded as the protector of the surrounding woods and swamplands. If one was to find themselves chasing the creature, before long, they would witness the animal vanish from sight, as if disappearing in the fog. Other titles for the creature were known as the Sand People, the Mangrove People, or the People Eaters. In the early morning, sometime around 6 a.m, 2 witnesses were driving into the town of Gainesville, located within Florida, when they reported one of the first documented encounters with the skunk ape. According to the 2 eyewitnesses, a young mother was traveling with her son. As they were traveling down Route 441, passing a 4-lane highway with an open grassy area that separates the lanes, a tall, humanoid creature, covered from head to toe in thick matted fur, was standing between the lanes, strolling across the grassy fields. The sighting, which occurred in the summer of 2000, allowed the witnesses to see the creature in bright daylight, despite it being only 6 a.m. However, they reported that it did not register what they had just seen, and it wasn't until they drove closer that they realized what they were looking at. According to the mother, the 2 had just passed by the Painesville Prairie Preserve, a state park of more than 21,000 acres that consisted mostly of flat swamplands and unending miles of wet prairies and overgrown marshlands. Believing the humanoid figure to have been a possible illegal hunter dressed up in matching camouflage, and due to the fact that no other cars were on the highway, the mother then slowed almost to a halt to get a better look at the humanoid creature. The witnesses then claimed that the creature, described as a large beast covered with brown hair, turned to face the 2 of them and began traveling towards their lane. Unsure of what to do, the driver stayed parked on the highway lane and waited for the creature to cross into the surrounding swampy nature preserve, watching its movements as it continued to pass them. At first, the witnesses claimed that they thought the creature could have been a normal but rather tall man, dressed in animal skins and furs that wrapped around him like a sweater, but as it walked towards them, they realized that the creature was not human and appeared more like a humanoid ape-like creature. Over the course of a few seconds, the humanoid ape-like creature crossed the highway lanes and walked over the surrounding bank, disappearing into the nearby state park. During her report, the woman would claim that the creature had to have stood somewhere between 7.5 to 8 feet in height, though it was impossible to accurately judge given the fact that she and her son were sitting in the car. Additionally, despite the fact that the ape-like creature was covered in fur from head to toe, the driver claimed that clear outlines of thick muscle could be seen that appeared to be very human except for its large, thick feet that appeared to be more like padding. The young boy would claim that it appeared that the creature ran quickly with a hunched-over posture and looked like a human monkey or a caveman, and said that it crossed the 4 lanes within a few seconds. Another sighting of the creature was made in Brevard County, Florida. On the 15th of September back in 1989, a brother and sister would witness an 8-foot-tall humanoid creature that would reignite the legends of the skunk ape in the region. According to the two eyewitnesses, they had been driving from Florida to Kissimmee late in the night, sometime around 11 in the evening. As the two were driving along Nova Road, located within Brevard County, the brother needed a temporary break to relieve himself after several hours of driving, and so pulled over to the side of the road for roughly 30 seconds. As he was standing outside the car, the sister began shouting that someone was coming and that the brother should finish before they got in trouble. Glancing around, the brother then noticed what he described as a 7 or 8 foot tall, dark humanoid creature running towards him, exiting from an area in the surrounding woods where snapped branches and debris could be seen. At first, the brother was unsure of who the person was, and worried that perhaps the person running towards them needed help. Due to Nova Road being a desolate 30-mile stretch of road that cuts through thousands of acres of untouched swamp and wetlands, the brother was certain that there should be no one in the wilderness unless they were in danger and needed help. Upon closer examination of the fast-approaching creature, it became clear to the brother that the tall humanoid was something completely inhuman, covered entirely in hair and striding along the ground as if the creature was preparing to quietly attack. Fearing for his life, the brother ran back to the car and began pulling away as fast as possible. After driving several miles, the brother began to slow the car down once more for another break when he noticed the creature following them on the road, now lit up in a red glowing tint due to the car's brake lights. Without any further hesitation, the brother slammed on the pedal and left the creature behind, watching as it jumped back into the nearby swampland. So what do you make of these strange skunk-ape encounters, and have you ever encountered a mysterious humanoid? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.